Here we go. All right. Hi, everybody. It's Bill Gilliland here, and I'm with Chris Herron and Jay Cope from Semper Remodeling. And we're going to talk a little bit about their business and where it came from and where it is now and where they're headed for. And so, yeah, guys, welcome. It's been, we've known each other a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years for sure.
Yeah,
several years.
I reckon I first knew you guys when you were in high school, and before y'all even got into college and the Marine Corps and that sort of thing. So, yeah, so we've known each other. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got into business and kind of where it started and where it is today.
Cool. So I'll start us out, Bill. We kind of started out as a notion after a fun summer building a house together. Jay's got a little bit of a background in business. I don't. So I will say Jay was the driver for actually starting her own business, but neither one of us really having any experience in doing so. Started out basically just working out of a truck with this idea of, we're going to be big time contractors and we're going to make all the money and build all the houses in the world. So that was kind of, I'll say juvenile. I'm
still operating out of a truck.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at me right now.
Yeah, there we go. We operate on a couple of trucks now. Yeah,
that's right.
So as it happens, it turns out that Bill here is a very awesome business coach. I didn't know what business coaching was, and kind of stumbled into business coaching, I think is where is how I kind of see that happening. Now I think we're doing pretty well. Jay?
Yeah. What's interesting is, Bill, I didn't know, even though we've known you for so long, I didn't know what you did, honestly, until I guess we started in our business, and I forget what tree, I think Chris ran into you or something and mentioned like, oh, do you know he does business coaching? Anyway, I forget exactly how, but it's like, well, there's an idea. Why don't we look into that? So, it's interesting how that kind of unfolded, but, I guess when you're younger, namely a kid or a teenager, what adults do. You don't really pay too much attention.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's right. It's okay. That's a little bit on me. We got to do a better job of marketing, letting the world know what we do, which is why we doing these videos is one thing. But
right.
So when you started out, it was just the two of you. Kind of where have you gotten to now? How many employees, and where have you sort of come from sales wise to kind of where we are now, roughly? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that since Chris took the first one last time. So right now we're between 6 and 7 employees, which is interesting that, starting out from 2 of us. And oh, by the way, that was only, 3 years ago, I guess. But yeah, 3 years ago, operating out of a truck in my basement at my house, to now there's 7 of us, and we have an established office in Black Mountain, a couple trucks, trailers, and things of that nature. It's kind of awe-inspiring. Honestly, it inspires me to think back and say, hey, we came from, I think the first year we did, the first full year, I think we did like 300,000 revenue.
Right.
And last year we did 1.3 million. So 3 years, basically, we went from 300 to $1.3 million in revenue, which is, it's crazy. It's crazy growth.
Yes, yeah, so that's about 300% growth in 3 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, was there a trigger for coaching, or were you guys just growing, or just trying to figure things out and trying to learn wherever you could?
Yeah, I think, and Chris, you may agree or not, but I think because we were so young in business or new to business. And just our personality is very growth-minded. Even though we didn't know we were looking for it, we saw the value in that, hey, we might need help. Real believer on experience is the best teacher, right? And if I can learn from somebody else's experience, great. Instead of paying for it myself, so to speak, through my own time and experience. which I think, so when we found out what you did, it was like, this could be really good for us because we don't know what we don't know. And all we know is it's real hard right now and we're struggling. So it's kind of a blessing to hear what you did and be able to sit down that first time and talk to you and say, you know what, let's give it a try because we're struggling and it's hard and we would like to not lose any more hair. But,
Yeah, well, for some of us, that's a problem, right, Jay?
That's right.
Yeah, so where do you think you'd be if you hadn't invested in coaching?
I mean, we may even be out of business at this point. Definitely very stressed. Not nearly as big as we are. Yeah, it'd be tough. We'd be set back a couple years. I think what we've done in 3 years would have probably taken us, 8 to 10 years maybe to get to, had we done it on our own. If we ever got here, it would have been a lot more painful for sure.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that, Chris? Or
I do actually. I think Jay nailed it. If we weren't out of business, we'd be thinking about shutting it down just because of the amount of stress. The nature of our business is just it has a lot of stress, a lot of ebbs and flows, and without the structure and very clear set goals that we've laid out over the past 3 years, I think we would be in a world of hurt, to put it nicely.
Yeah. Great. Good. So is there a particular strategy or two that we implemented that stick out in your minds as something that made a real difference?
I can say from my standpoint, taking a step back and looking at our sales strategy and plan was huge because obviously I do the sales for us. And instead of spending so much time on prospects that don't go anywhere, now the propensity of people I talk to, turn into something, which is cool, whether it's today or next year. But anyway, that was a huge stress reliever, and just systemizing, like the idea of systemizing that, in my opinion, kind of catapulted us into, hey, why don't we go ahead and systemize everything else?
Yeah. So having an actual sales process and having an actual idea of who our ideal clients were some of the strategies that we did there.
That's right.
That made a difference. What in your mind? Yeah. What about you, Chris?
So I do. The systems are awesome. I think that's been probably our biggest. I'd probably say my second would probably have to be defining who's wearing what hat and which hats we need to be working on. So basically working in our center of excellence and taking everything else off of us and putting it into somebody who actually, that's their center of excellence. So making sure we're finding employees and other people that, are going to help grow our business for us so that we're not trying to do it all ourselves.
Right. Yeah. So instead of asking, how can I do it? Asking who can do it. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. We lost you. That's all right. Yeah.
Phone call. Simple concept, but it takes somebody else telling you that you need to do it. So.
Yeah. So how hard was it to implement the strategies that we're working on?
I don't know. It's essentially, I think it's a mindset. And I look at, obviously we go to North Carolina Builders Institute. We talk to a lot of different business owners. And I find it's a mindset. So I think Chris and I will say, I think we had the right mindset in the sense of, being growth minded, understanding we had limitations and where we could be better. I think that's probably one of our biggest strengths is just being able to take advice and try it out, even if it, doesn't readily, not that we didn't spot check it, but understand we might not even totally understand why we're doing it, but let's try it out because somebody with a lot more experience, like you was saying, give it a shot, and it's worked out well. So was it? It was tough to build the systems. It takes time for sure, but I think we had the right mindset to say, let's not let some preconceived notion get in our way and be a roadblock. Let's kind of move forward and see where we can really take this.
Yeah. You guys also did a great job of chucking. We took bigger strategies and chucking them down into small steps so that, yeah. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Good. So what you were talking about mindset. So what percentage of your success do you think was mindset, and what percentage of your success do you think, from application of strategies?
Well, I think it's tough to say because I think one begets the other type thing, but
That's right.
I definitely think being in the right mindset is huge. That's probably certainly the propensity of it. Applying the systems is kind of like it needs to happen to set the mindset into place. It's kind of the difference between a dreamer and a doer, I guess.
Mm,
You got to have a good mixture of both, but I think having the right mindset is more important or weighs more heavily in my mind than implementing the systems. But if you don't implement the systems, your mindset will always just be a dream and never, it'll be forced. In other words, it's interesting.
yeah.
I don't know if
What?
that answers your question.
Yeah, of course it does. What do you think, Chris? What's your take on the mindset
Uh, I,
application?
I think having a little more mindset is good because I think you got to have willpower if you're going to make anything happen. And being of the right mindset, I agree with Jay, is a little more important. Outweighs heavily, probably not. I'd probably put it at like 55 to 60% mindset, and the other part application, because it does take carving out the time to make it happen.
Yeah. So you guys, one of the things that I've enjoyed working with y'all on is that y'all will just go and get it done. Where does that come from? Is or what role has the Marines played in your sort of mindset in your training? You guys are both Marines, and we appreciate that. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so for me personally, it's a pretty big mindset because we were always taught to have what they call an ambush mentality. In other words, be ready to pounce at a good opportunity any chance you can.
Right.
And it comes from combat, right? So you got to be flexible. A lot of Marines say stay frosty. Same ideas. You can't wait to have 100% solution. They used to say all you need is a 70% solution. Because if you wait around, people would literally lose their lives or the mission won't get accomplished. So anyway, I guess used to operating on 70% of the information and just going with it. So there's that, and then also kind of the adapt and overcome mentality of, we're going to figure out a way. We may not see how, but we're going to make it happen, and just that kind of drive to say, let's make it happen versus finding ways that we can't make it happen or making excuses.
Yeah, well, I like that because I like the 70%, because if you wait till you have all the information, you'll be done. It'll be past the time. It's a bias for action there. What's your take on it, Chris?
Close with and destroy the enemy. Let's go get it.
Yeah. No.
We're going head on into it. There's nothing else to do. It's better to ask forgiveness than it is permission. So let's just go make it happen.
Yeah. So a big piece of coaching is accountability. That I'm going to roll around and call you guys, and we know when those calls are coming. So, what's the likelihood you would have gotten this done with just the, maybe just reading a book or watching a video or going to a class versus, that adding that accountability piece in?
Pretty low.
Okay.
I think the accountability was probably one of the big things that Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, that we really liked about it, is that we knew every week you were going to be getting a phone call and we're going to have to answer whether or not we've done this or not. So it's not like you're jumping down our throat or anything like, hey, you guys didn't do this, so you guys are horrible. It's more, we're going to have to answer this, and we're going to have to explain why we're failing ourselves and why we're not growing our business.
Oh yeah, no, I feel bad if I don't get something done. That even though it's not a huge deal typically, but I have to still report like, yeah, I just didn't get to it for whatever reason, and so it's been beneficial to me. Plus, it always helps to have somebody kind of pushing you to do the right thing.
Right.
The accountability is very important. I think that's one of the biggest drivers because otherwise, to be accountable to somebody and for somebody to hold you accountable is definitely going to make you a better person. And in our case, a better business.
Yeah. Well, it's really holding you accountable to yourselves. I mean, you guys are the ones that said you want to get it done, so let's get it done. So who do you think would not be suitable for coaching? You guys have given me some nice referrals and appreciate that, but who do you think would not be suitable for coaching?
Probably somebody that's closed-minded. I'll say hard-headed maybe. In other words, if you're not ready to actually implement strategies or goals or ideas, if you're not ready to listen, you're just throwing your money away. You know, so why spend the money if you're not going to make a change, right? So definitely somebody that's closed-minded or just not ready to listen to, you know, I think of the person that, hey, I've been doing this for 20 years and it's worked for me, so why do I need to change? You probably don't have the right mentality for it. So you need to be willing to actually listen and open up yourself to both good ideas, a little bit of constructive criticism, and things of that nature.
Thanks, Jay. What about you, Chris? You got any more to add?
100% agree with what Jay said. You need to be willing to take the constructive criticism and be willing to apply it to your business. It's just astronomical, like what you can do with some of the systems that we have in place, I think.
Sure. So what surprised you about coaching?
Probably the speed at which we were able to grow our business.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's yeah, I mean, I'd say this, not only the speed at which, but also how doable is it? And you know, part of that is time management, but like, you know, the philosophy up front is I don't have time to do all this stuff you're asking us to do, to sit down and plan out our sales process or look at our systems, et cetera, et cetera. But you've shown us that we do have time, and here's how it's done. So that was a big surprise to me is, hey, you know, you have the time to do this and the resources, you just need to commit to it type deal.
That's somewhere some of the Marine training came in. You commit to an action, you pretty much do it. Yeah. What about you?
I would be surprised at, yeah, definitely the speed in which everything happened, but just how, I guess, the path that we've taken was not unattainable. Like, you know, we're looking at, you know, one of our goals is, you know, we want to be a successful commercial enterprise that works without us in 5 years. Here we are in 3 years, and I can 100% see the goal at the end of that path. It's nothing's unattainable. We chunked everything down into such small fractions. It's not overwhelming to get there.
Cool. So is there anything else you'd like to tell folks about who you guys are, or about coaching, or about anything in general? It's an open mic. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in the Black Mountain area looking for a remodel, no, I'm kidding.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
No,
Yeah,
but,
these are the guys right here. If you're looking for remodeling in Black Mountain and Swannanoa area, these are the guys right here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd say, Bill, one of your strengths is taking what we think are real, and we've had what we thought were real big hair fires or problems that seem real hard to get over and how to deal with, whether it be a bad client or, hey, you know, cash flow issues, or, hey, we don't have the right material, whatever the case may be. And you pretty much every time you say something that seems real obvious to you, and I'm always taking a step back like, that is real simple, and yet I didn't think about it, but let's go ahead and get after it. And it's just been really nice when we are stressed out or running into a big problem to know that I can call you or talk to you on our weekly scheduled call, and there's going to be some advice that just seems to make it better or put it into context to where it just makes more sense. Anyway, so that's been huge for me, and a huge stress reliever, just knowing that there's somebody out there that I can talk to and that understands me and has a similar goal of getting me where I want to be.
Thanks for that. That's awesome. How about you, Chris?
I'm going to just say that it has been worth every single penny having you there to guide. I mean, the amount of experience you have and just the systems that you can bring to the table are awesome. think the last thing I'd like to close with is that we opened this conversation up with some numbers, that we've increased business by 300%. If that doesn't speak for itself, I don't know what would.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for jumping on the call with me today, and we'll talk with you soon.
Yeah, absolutely.